Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing a speed reviews. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I wanted to share my thoughts on a bunch of new launches that I've been trying. So most of this is makeup. I do have a few skincare products to throw in. Some of this I purchased during the Sephora sale. Actually, a lot of it I purchased during the Sephora sale, and a few things I've purchased since then, but most of these products are new launches. So I'm gonna give you pretty quick thoughts on this. I'm gonna try to keep it moving. I'm not always great at doing that, but we're gonna try it today. So I have 30 products here, and I'm just gonna share very quick, to the point reviews on all of them. So that is today's video. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my channel. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. But let's just get right into these speed reviews. Let's get started with number one, which is something I did purchase during the Sephora sale. It's this towel. This is the Crown Affair hair towel. Now, I will be completely honest. I bought this because I love the green, and I actually did need a new hair towel. This is something I use every single time I wash my hair. I always put it up with some type of microfiber towel like this. I love Crown Affair. I love the products I've tried from them, so it was on sale, and that was the way I justified it. This is a very nice quality towel, but do you need to spend this much money on a microfiber towel? No, you do not. But is it really great and really nice quality? Yes. Do I think you'd be disappointed with it? No. I've really enjoyed it. I've only used this since I got it. I actually threw away all the other ones that I had because they were old anyway, and I like this one the best. However, there is one thing I was going to mention about it. My other towels that I've used like this have a little button. They're not a button back here that you attach. There is like a little loop on the end, and you attach to the button to secure the towel. This one does not have that. All you have to secure it is this elastic thing right here. So you wrap your hair up, pull it over, and then you secure it underneath this band. If you have really thick hair or really just heavy hair like I do, and you are like trying to lean over and wash your face or just lean your head over in general, because this isn't buttoned, it is a little bit hard to keep the towel on your head. I have noticed that, which is kind of annoying considering this was not cheap. I'm sure they did it this way because this looks a little bit more aesthetic, but I did want to mention that if you have a lot of hair, long hair, thick hair, heavy hair when it's wet, just know if you're trying to like rinse your face off after you do this and you have this towel on your head, it does kind of fall a little bit. I have to keep like readjusting it. So I want to mention that. Is it nice quality? Yes. Do I think you like need to spend the money on this? No. Number two, I bought this set at the Sephora sale. This is by Soft Services. It's a collaboration with the brand Dead Cool, which is this fragrance brand. And I saw that they came in a set together. So I was originally just interested in the hand cream, which is what this is. It's a really fancy hand cream. You press this button down. It's nice. It smells great. They had, I guess they did a collab with this scent by Dead Cool and Extra Milk. Okay, the scent smells incredible. It's such a nice, like, just clean, kind of like fresh laundry type of scent. It does not last. That is my complaint. It doesn't last. I can spray this and I can't smell it in like 1 minute. It smells good, but I can't smell it throughout the day, which is very annoying. And the hand cream is fine. One of the claims on this is it has retinol in it. It's supposed to be good for your hands, your cuticles, all of that. To me, I've been using it pretty much every night before bed. It's just a hand cream that smells pretty good. Do I think it was worth the money that I spent on it? No, I don't. I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest, other than the smell. It does smell good. If this scent happens to last on you, it might be worth it, maybe. But for me, it didn't last. It smells good, but it's too expensive for what it is, personally. Number three is the Tatcha Dewy Milk Moisturizer. I did buy this during the Sephora sale, and kind of surprised to say this, but I actually do not regret this at all. I will buy this again when it runs out. So I originally tried this months ago. I bought a mini size, and I did that just to make sure I actually liked it before I bought the full size, and I love this stuff. I hate to say that because Tatcha is so expensive, but there is something about the Dewy Skin Cream and this Dewy Milk Moisturizer that are just different from other skincare products that I've tried. Y'all know I love tons of Korean skincare that is a lot more affordable than Tatcha, but there's something about this one that is just good, especially for under makeup, because it's a little bit of a thicker kind of gel texture, but it's not as thick as the Dewy Skin Cream from Tatcha. So if you have an oilier skin type, or you just don't want something super thick and heavy with this hot weather that we have, if you're in the South or if you're in the United States, it's getting pretty hot in a lot of places. Something like this gives you that glow, that hydration, but it's not thick on the skin. And it just does so well under makeup. It's so nice. Every time I use it, I just enjoy it. I don't know how else to say it. I just enjoy this product. And you know what? It's expensive, but it brings me a lot of joy. So I would recommend it personally. Number 4 is the Tatcha Milky Sunscreen with SPF 50. Okay, this is another product, very expensive, obviously from the same brand. I love this stuff though. I did not want to love it. I did not. I think I even said that in multiple videos because this is an expensive sunscreen, but it's phenomenal. I have no complaints other than the price. It is so thin, so lightweight. It feels like a milky toner that's an SPF. It has ectoin in it, which is a really nice, I believe it's a really hydrating ingredient, a very soothing ingredient. It has aloe in it. It is a chemical SPF. If you're not into chemical sunscreens, you would not love this one. But if you like a chemical SPF that works well under makeup, that's hydrating, but it's very thin, it's not thick, you would love this. This is probably the thinnest sunscreen that I have ever tried, and sadly, I would recommend it. Number 5 is the One Size. This is the B12 Base Thinner. So this is kind of a multi-use product. You can use it as a glowy primer just underneath a foundation or a base product, or you can mix it into anything that you want to add some glow to, or that you want to thin out and get a little bit less coverage from. That's what this is great for. Now, do I think this is like a necessary product? No, because you can do the same thing with other products. You can thin out a foundation with a toner that you have, with a moisturizer that you have, with another glowy priming product that you have. But what I have liked this for is I actually tried this several times mixed with my Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. It works beautifully that way. It just kind of takes down that opacity of that formula and adds a little bit of glow, but not too much. It makes the formula a bit thinner feeling, and it makes a really beautiful, lighter coverage type of base product with some glow and a little bit of coverage, but not as much as the foundation by itself. That is what this works the best for. You can also use it as a primer, but I think it works best as a mixer. But like I said, do you need it? No. Is it nice to have? Yes. All right, moving on to foundations and skin tints. So number 6, the Rare Beauty True to Myself Matte Foundation. Okay, I don't love this. I tested this out in a video and I was kind of indifferent about it. I wasn't quite sure. I wanted to test it some more. Here's the thing. This is probably one of the thicker feeling and looking foundations on my skin. Or I shouldn't say looking, but it feels very thick. It has a dry, kind of airy, moussey texture, kind of like a thicker, like whipped cream texture. That's how I would describe this. And it gives phenomenal coverage. I mean, you can definitely get full coverage from this. It is ultra, 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 ultra matte. And for me, throughout the day, it looks worse and worse and worse. When I first apply it, I will say I don't hate it. It looks a little bit matte for me, like too matte for me, and a little bit heavy. But where I really don't love it is throughout the day. It starts to look like it's really like settling on the skin, and not in a good way, not in a flattering way. And it also oxidizes, which is a no-go for me. Anytime a base product oxidizes, it's automatically out for me because I want my base product to be the same color at the beginning of the day as it is at the end of the day. And if it's not, that just kind of gives me the ick. I don't know. Something about oxidizing I just don't love. So yeah, this is a miss for me. I think maybe if you have like ultra oily skin and you're just looking for something full coverage and ultra matte, you might like it. I'm not a huge fan of it though. Number 7, the Refi Skin Base. I actually love this product. This is like the complete opposite of the Rare Beauty foundation. This is a thicker tinted moisturizer. I think it's a little bit more than a tinted moisturizer. I think it's like light medium coverage, but it is on the thicker side. It's kind of like a gel texture and it's pretty hydrating on the skin. A little bit glowy, but it does set pretty well. Now, I wouldn't say it sets all the way, but it sets to more of like a satin finish, which I really like about it. And it actually wears really long. I have no complaints with longevity. It does have this pump where you press this button down and it dispenses the product on this little palette here, which is convenient, but it's also kind of messy. You have to clean it every time. That is not my favorite applicator, but overall, I think this is a really nice product. Honestly, I think all skin types would like this. However, I do find it to be very similar to the Merit Uniform, which I also love. I've talked about that many times on my channel. If I had to pick between the two, I would probably still choose the Merit one because the Merit one has SPF in it. For me, that is a plus. I don't mind SPF in lighter coverage base products like that. If you do not like SPF, but everything else that I've said sounds good to you, the Refi is something I would look into. Number 8. Now this is the newest product that I am including in here. I almost didn't include it in here just because it's so new, but I can already give you my thoughts on it. The new Makeup Forever Skin Balancing and Perfecting Foundation. This is 10 out of 10 in my mind. I have worn this. I've had it for about 2 weeks and I've worn it probably 10 out of the last 14 days. This is phenomenal. Everything about it. The coverage is impeccable. It's definitely medium full coverage if you apply one full pump. I can get full coverage out of this, or very close to it. It is a beautiful satin finish and it looks like it could actually be your skin because the finish is so realistic looking. It doesn't look like it's overly dewy or overly matte. It's that perfect balance. Skin balancing is the perfect name for it. It's long wearing. I love it. It's not super thin, but not really thick. This shade 106N is perfect for me. This is definitely a top foundation now in my collection, and I've only had it for 2 weeks. Number 9 is the Laura Mercier Tinted Blur Balm. I think I've talked about this in a YouTube video. Yeah, I've used this in a YouTube video, haven't I? Sometimes I can't keep track of if I've used something on like Instagram and TikTok and not on YouTube, or vice versa, but I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this here. This really surprised me. I think this is a phenomenal product. This is light coverage. You know what? I would say it's more light medium. It actually has a bit more coverage than I was thinking it was going to. It's a really thin balm that is very smoothing on the skin. It kind of reminds me of like a priming type product in terms of the finish, like a matte priming product. But it doesn't look unflattering like you've just taken all the life out of your skin, but it does kind of smooth over the skin, if that makes sense. This is shade 1. I do think it runs a little bit dark. Shade 2 is what I thought I would be, and that one's actually too dark for me. But this, what I love about this is you can just take a brush like this. I like a dense brush with this. Tap in, press it on, and move on. Like, it's quick and it's easy. It's a compact, so it's easy to take on the go with you. It's very smoothing. It gives some coverage, but not a ton. It's a great lightweight, everyday base product. I like to use it with concealer, just spot conceal. The only thing is it does not have much product in here. There is not much. You only get 0.17 ounces. And I do find when I use it, I go in quite a few times to cover my whole face. So that's the only thing. I do think you would have to replace this pretty often, but I actually think any skin type would like this, and it's just a great everyday light base product. Number 10 is the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Brightener. So these came out, I think, at the very, very beginning of the Sephora sale, and I was really excited. I was thinking I was going to be able to use this as a true color corrector because I love pink tones typically if they're dark enough for my under eyes. But this has a lot of white in it, and I really can't use this as a corrector. The formula is not deep enough. It has too much white base pigment in it. So that's it right there. It is a true pink. So really the only thing I would use this for would be to mix with something that's too yellow to kind of neutralize it a bit, or I could use it on top of concealer and corrector to brighten, but I don't do either of those things that often. So for that reason, I haven't been reaching for this very much, but I do think there's a place for something like this. Just for me personally, I can't correct with it, and I don't brighten often after my concealer. So I think it's nice that she added these, and I can definitely find a use for it, but I'm not personally using it a ton. It just doesn't really fit into my makeup routine. Number 11, the new NYX Wonder Snatch Concealer. This is actually one of few drugstore products in this video. I'm testing some other drugstore things, but I haven't tested them enough to include them in this video, but I have tested this enough, and this is a win for me. And I'm so happy to say that. I don't have many drugstore concealers that I love. Okay, I love this one. I think this is one of the best at the drugstore right now. It's medium, slightly buildable coverage. They do market it as full coverage. I personally think it's medium, maybe just like slightly buildable, but I don't think it's a full coverage. But I love it because it's so thin and lightweight. I like it to spot conceal, which is how I used it today, and I also like it under the eyes. I would say this one is a nice natural finish. It's kind of hydrating, but then it dries down to more of like a soft satin finish. It's not incredibly matte though, so it kind of falls in that really nice balance between the two. It wears beautifully. I think NYX did an excellent job with this. I wear shade number 9, sometimes 11. It just kind of depends on the foundation or whatever I have on my face at the time, but I can wear either one. Number 12 is another concealer. This is the Ilia Skin Blur Serum Concealer. Okay, I bought this during the Sephora sale, and I tried it in a video. I remember saying I liked it, but I wasn't like blown away by it. For some reason, this is one that I just had to warm up to. I don't know why, but I have used this so much since the sale when I picked it up, and I love this. I think this is a beautiful concealer. What I love most about this is the finish. So this is actually more of like a blurred, like airbrush kind of finish. Like after I blend this under my eyes, if I look up close in a mirror, it looks like I've set my under eyes with powder, and I haven't. But not in a way where it looks dry or like unflattering. It just looks kind of perfected. Like I went in and I set my under eyes with powder, with a really good powder. It is only medium coverage. You can't really build this up. I would say medium is all you're gonna get at the very, very most. But it's so lightweight. I think every skin type would enjoy this. I think even mature skin, because this is so thin and kind of smoothing on the skin, I honestly think this is a great option for just about anybody, as long as you're okay with medium coverage. All right, getting into bronzers. Number 13 are the new Westman bronzing duos, the Sun Tone bronzing duos. Love this product. Love this so much. Yes, Westman is a very expensive brand, and I honestly have tried some things from them in the past, like the powder duos like this that I did not love. The cream is a different story. I think these are phenomenal. First of all, I love that you get 2 shades in here. You get a cooler one and a slightly deeper, warmer one. So you can use one, you can use both, you can kind of mix them. I do, just to be honest, use the lighter one the most because I like the undertone the best. but I have been dipping into this darker one a little bit here and there. But what I love most about this is they are so creamy, but they have more of a blurred finish on the skin once you apply them. That's more rare in terms of cream bronzers for me in my collection. Most of mine are very creamy, balmy, dewy, hydrating. I don't have much in my collection with a finish like this. And sometimes if I have really glowy products underneath, I don't want another glowy cream product. This kind of gives me the, the flexibility that a cream does, which is why I like creams in general, but it does give more of a matte, soft, blurred finish once you apply it. And for that reason, it looks really natural. It wears all day. It's an easy product. I also love the packaging. I love the turquoise blue. I think this is 10 out of 10. I'd highly recommend it. If you're looking for something like this, I would absolutely say that it's worth it. I did also, actually forgot about this, but I'm gonna throw this in here. I did also pick up the brush. I do not think the brush is worth it. This brush, I wanna say this brush is like $75. You don't need this brush. You can use any brush that you have and make this formula work because it's so easy. This is cute, and I bought it because like, hello, it's cute, but honestly, it doesn't feel like the best quality to me. The brush hairs feel okay, they're soft, but the ferrule itself doesn't feel like I think it should for that price point. So is it a nice, does it work well, I should say, for the product? Yes. Do you need this? Should you spend the money on it? No. Number 14 is the Summer Fridays, the Bronzer Butter Balm. Okay, this is like the opposite formula to the Westman Atelier. This is very creamy, but it's like a buttery, very emollient creaminess. So this gives you some glow, some hydration. It does not set down to a matte finish. This does stay a little bit dewy and slightly tacky on the skin. So depending on if you like that type of formula, that might be good or bad for you. I will say that I do like that. However, I will typically want to set it with just a little bit of something, whether it's powder or a powder bronzer or a powder blush, just something to kind of hold this down and make it a little bit less tacky. But I gotta say, the formula blends like butter. I mean, it just melts into the skin, and this shade is phenomenal. The shade Sand, love it. It is, I would say, pretty neutral. I think they describe it as more of a cool tone. On me, I think it pulls perfectly neutral. It gives a little bit of that cool tone, but also a little bit of warmth. The shade is phenomenal, and overall I think it's gorgeous as long as you like a dewy, more creamy, hydrating bronzer. Number 15 is the Sarah Creel Just Like Paradise Cream Bronzer. Now I would say this kind of falls in between the Westman bronzer and the Summer Fridays. It's not quite as balmy and dewy as the Summer Fridays, but it's definitely not a blurred matte finish like Westman Atelier. This one is creamy, just not, I don't think it melts quite as easily as the Summer Fridays. It has a little bit more stiffness to the formula, but it's not matte. It does stay, again, a little bit tacky, not quite as tacky as Summer Fridays. And I do think this one's even more pigmented personally than Summer Fridays. Of the two, I would say I prefer Summer Fridays just because I like the shade a little bit better. And the Summer Fridays formula, for some reason, when you apply it, it does not move your base products underneath. And that is something I have trouble with a lot of cream bronzers, especially if they're really creamy and kind of that buttery texture. Sometimes I find that they do kind of move what's underneath. For whatever reason, the Summer Fridays really does not do that. This one doesn't do it terribly bad, but there have been times when I've used this when I thought, ooh, I feel like I lost a little bit of coverage where I applied it when I was trying to blend it. So that would be my con, but I will say, I mean, it's beautiful once you blend it out. You just kind of have to be a little bit more careful with it. The Summer Fridays, I find I can be a little bit more careless with it, but it is tackier and dewier than this one. So just depends on what you want. I think this is nice, but it's not like a top favorite for me. Number 16 is I think, the last cream bronzer, and it's the Dior Forever Skin Bronze Stick. I really like this formula. I went with shade number 3 because it was the only one that didn't look like it would pull really, really orangey. In shade 3, I can make it work, but it's a little bit too dark. I guess I should have gotten shade 2. I just felt like that would be too warm and too orange, which is why I went with this one. This one looked to be a little bit more red in the undertone, and I can definitely make it work. These do blend out a little bit more sheer than like the Summer Fridays or the Sarah Creole. This one is more, it's just not as opaque as the other ones. It's more of a balm. That makes sense. They call it a balm. That's how I would describe it. And I like the formula. It's just this one's a hair too dark. Now, if I had a tan or I had self-tan on, this would probably work a little bit better. But for me, with my natural skin tone, shade 3 is kind of hard to work with. I can make it work, but it's not my perfect shade by any means. So would I buy this again? Yes, in a lighter shade. I like to get mine from the back of my hand, and even if I do that and really build it up on the brush, I find that this shade can look a little bit muddy on me just because it's not great for my skin tone. But do I think the formula is nice? Yes, I think this is the most like even in terms of finish between dewy and matte. It's like right in between. Like I said, the shade is not great for me, but I might consider buying this and just testing it out in shade number 2. And finally, number 17, this is the last bronzer. These are the new MAC Skin Finish bronzers, the Sunstruck Radiant bronzers. These are beautiful. If you watched my MAC video, I applied these and I applied 7 shades of the new blushes that we're going to get to in a minute. These are beautiful bronzers. I have the Radiant one and the matte one. I will say I prefer the matte one of the two. The Radiant one does unfortunately get hard pan pretty easily. You can fix it with like a spoolie, but I do find it gets hard pan again pretty quickly for some reason. The matte one doesn't. So for that reason, I've been going for the matte one a little bit more. But what I love the most about these is the shade, the light rosy shade. So this is the matte one. This is the Radiant one. The Radiant one pulls a little bit more pink. The matte one pulls a little bit more neutral, but they are beautiful. And the matte one especially makes a really nice crease color for me. And it does set like something like the Summer Fridays balm that I was talking about. Something like this is very light. It's very fair color and it's matte. So that kind of works perfectly with that Summer Fridays to kind of set it in place. That's what I've been using this for primarily. But it also works well just by itself on unset foundation. I have tried that too. I actually think this is a wonderful bronzer formula from MAC. Number 18 is the new Prada Touch Cream to Powder blushes. Okay, these have gotten quite a bit of talk on social media. And first of all, I'll say I got this in PR. I did not buy this. In fact, this may be the only thing in this video now that I think about it. Yeah, this is the only product that I did get in PR. That does not change my opinion. I'm just pointing it out because I know people like to know if you got stuff in PR. This packaging is a no. No, 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 no. It is cute. I like the pink. It's much smaller than I thought it was going to be, but it feels so cheap and it's Prada. I know they were going for like a gimmicky, or I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it seems like that's what they were going for because these are stackable. So I only have one, but if I had multiple, they click on top of each other and stack like Legos for makeup, which I mean, for like Wet n Wild, maybe I can see that. For Prada, not so much. But I will also say the formula is gorgeous. The formula is gorgeous. I do have this one on today in the shade Dahlia, and this one is a true cream that sets to more of that soft powdered finish. Very similar actually to the Westman Atelier bronzer, but there are other formulas that are similar to this that are less money and I think are just as good, like the Rare Beauty Matte Bouncy Blush in the shade Hope. That one is the most similar I can think of to the shade Dahlia, but that formula from Rare Beauty is very, very similar. and it's definitely less expensive than the Prada. And packaging is actually pretty similar on that one. It's more plastic, more lightweight. I wouldn't have a problem with this if it was anything but Prada, you know? It's not Prada. But is the formula nice? Yes. Number 19 is the Sarah Creel Coming In Hot blush. This is the Blurring Pressed Mousse blush. Okay, I'm kind of like, I don't know what to say exactly about this blush. It's not a favorite. It's not a favorite. First of all, when you dip a brush or your finger into this one that I have, I mentioned this in my review. Do you see these little pills and balls that you get here? I don't know what that is. I don't know why that happens. And it's not like when I blend the swatch out, like if I blend it away, it does go away. But what I will say is these swatch beautifully. Like that is the shade Sunshine, and it's beautiful. It's like a warmer peachy nude. I do find sometimes though, these go on a little bit patchy, and I'm not sure why. It's like, because they're creamy to start out with, it's like the more you try to blend them and then they dry down to more of a matte finish, they get like they don't blend and apply evenly for some reason. And I don't know if that has something to do with that pilling that's happening. I have seen a few other reviews that said theirs was also pilling. I'm not sure about that. And I'm bummed about it, honestly, because these are expensive and I love the shade. Shade is beautiful. But yeah, the formula is not quite what I was hoping it would be, and I don't love these little balls. I would love to know why that's happening. So unfortunately, I would say these are a miss. I think there are others that are less than these and apply more evenly. Number 20 are the new MAC Skin Finish Color Struck blushes. I did a whole YouTube video on these, so if you want to see that, make sure to check that out. I'll try to link it above for you. I bought 7 of these, 7 of the blushes and 2 of the bronzers, and I think these are phenomenal. I think MAC did a wonderful job with this new formula. 2 that I have here are Velvet Teddy. This is the matte formula. Beautiful kind of rosy nude color, very similar to the Velvet Teddy lipstick. And then this is a radiant finish. This is Baby Girl. This is the lightest one that I have, and this one is more of a blush topper. I do have a little bit of this on today with that Prada blush underneath, and that one is a radiant finish, but you can see it's very, very light. I really only use that one as a topper, but I think this formula is phenomenal. It applies so seamlessly, whether you've set your makeup underneath or you haven't. The formula is also very buildable, so you can get a very soft effect with the pigment, or you can really build them up in the intensity. I think they did a great job with these. My only complaint would be, I think the shade range needs some true nude shades. I feel like they have a lot of pink, a lot of peach, and they have some really deep mahogany tones, purple tones, but we're missing like some true nudes that don't lean pink, don't lean coral, none of that, just like true nudes. So I'm hoping maybe they'll expand the shades, but I actually think this formula is phenomenal. Number 21 is the new NARS Insatiable Liquid Blush. I love these. I think they're beautiful. Very, almost like a whipped liquid texture. And I love this shade. Okay, the shade is Orgasm Fantasy. I know, NARS, I really wish we could stop with these names, but that seems to be their thing. But I love this color. It's a beautiful, like warm pink, and it's very dewy on the skin. So this definitely gives you some glow. It's very easy to sheer out, as you can see. I actually don't think these are incredibly pigmented. I've seen a few reviews that said they really are. I think they blend out and sheer out quite a bit as you blend, especially if you apply them from the back of your hand, which is how I like to do it. Then I find that I really have to build it up if I want a lot of intensity, but they last all day, and I love that glowy, dewier finish that they give. I think these are absolutely beautiful. Number 22 is the new Natasha Denona Hy-Glam setting powder. It is one color. It is translucent, so it's white, and on the skin it does go on translucent, so that I agree with. It does set your makeup incredibly well. I think it keeps your makeup on incredibly well. It does mattify well. What I don't think it does is blur. So if you have a lot of texture or you struggle with large pores and you like for your powder to really blur the skin, I don't find that this does that. Because even on me, I don't really struggle with large pores, but as I've gotten older, I notice my pores a little bit more in this area right next to my nose. And a lot of my powders, like my L'Oreal Infallible, for example, I love that powder. It sets, it blurs, and it looks like nothing. This does set, and it doesn't really look like powder, but it does not blur the pores. The pores are there. Like if you look, they just look very matte. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does. For that reason, it's not like a favorite powder, but I don't think it's bad. I will also say the packaging is a little bit hard to get out. I like that it has the flap here so you can close off the powder, but it's hard to get the powder out. Like you have to like beat it and not very much comes out at once. So I don't know. I don't love the packaging and I don't think it blurs. I do think it sets your makeup well, but so do most of my setting powders that I love. So this one is just okay, but it's not a favorite. Number 23 are the new MAC Multi Sculpt Liquid Shadows. If you've been watching my content, you probably know how I feel about these. These have quickly become like one of my most used single eyeshadows, especially the shade Buffed Up, which I do have on as a base today, and then Painterly, which is the classic MAC beigey, like Painterly color. These are so good because they set and they last all day. They are very, very matte and they are very thin, so they don't feel heavy on the eyes or they don't crease badly on the eyes because they are so thin. It's got to be one of the thinnest liquid shadow formulas that I've tried, but it actually lasts and they're actually very pigmented. So you can overdo it if you apply too much and you're not wanting a lot of pigment. So I would say apply less than you think you need. You can wear them alone or you can use them as primer. They work well either way. And I've been loving them personally. I've seen mixed reviews on these too, but for me, they are 10 out of 10. I love them. Number 24, the YSL, what was this called? Nude Hours palette. Okay, here's the thing. I knew that I shouldn't buy this when I bought it, but I bought it anyway because I'm a sucker. I just can't help it. It's limited edition. I love YSL packaging. I typically love the YSL eyeshadow quads, so that's why I bought this. I shouldn't have bought this. I really shouldn't have. I will say, I think this palette really only would be worth it for somebody that has a medium or deeper skin tone. If you are lighter than medium, unless you're looking for very intense, like more glam shadow looks in terms of what you're wanting to create with this, I don't think you're going to get a ton of use out of it because these shades, even the lighter ones, like this light gray, they're very pigmented, like very pigmented. So even if you use a light hand, you get a lot of intensity. So I don't find that I can use this as like an everyday palette. Even if I only use one shade, even if I apply them really lightly, every time I end up getting more shadow than I'm wanting. I don't think you can even get this anymore, but if you were disappointed that you didn't get your hands on it, I don't think this is like a necessary product. I would much rather have my Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette or even my Makeup by Mario Neutrals palette. This one is just kind of hard to work with. Every time I've used it, I feel like I have to work really hard to get my eyes to look the way that I want them to. And you shouldn't have to do that with a palette like this. I did also want to mention, I feel like the formula in this palette is different than the quads. I may be wrong on that, but there's something about these that don't feel the same to me as the quad formula. I don't know why, but there's something about it that just doesn't seem the same. I have no idea if that's true or not. That's just my impression. But yeah, this is a miss for me just because I'm not going to use it. I'm probably going to sell this, to be completely honest, because I'm not going to reach for it. Number 26, the new Makeup Forever Aqua Resist color pencils. I don't love this. I love the shade. This is the shade Desert Taupe. Love the shade, but I don't find these glide on easily. I feel like I have to really warm it up first on the back of my hand, and even then, I feel like if I'm trying to apply it, it will kind of skip and not just glide on. It's not creamy enough for me. It applies and blasts pretty well in the waterline, but if I apply it on the upper lash line, I find that I just have to tug too hard. I have to push too hard. It takes too much effort, whereas like my Makeup by Mario eyeliner in taupe is very easy. I don't have to work hard with that one at all. This one I do. So these I would not recommend. I would not buy this again. Number 27, the new Milani Highly Rated Lash Extensions Mascara. I would not buy this again. It's a tubing mascara and it does remove easily with water. So I will say that. But other than that, it just doesn't do anything spectacular for me. I think it's more for length. I think they say it's a volumizing tubing mascara. I don't think it's volumizing at all. I think it does separate and add some length, but that's about it. I don't get much volume. I don't get much lift from this formula. In fact, I find the formula to be kind of thick, and I feel like it does kind of weigh down my lashes pretty quickly. But if you like a tubing mascara, this one is not bad, but I would not buy this again. Number 28 is the new YSL Love Nude Kiss Shaper Lip Liners. These are great. These are very matte and very creamy. So they do just glide on. Like, this is how I want that Makeup Forever pencil to apply on my eyes, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't glide. It's not creamy enough. These are very creamy. They're like a velvety matte, but they're very creamy. They just glide on the lips, and they are transfer proof. They are long wearing. I have on the shade 103 today, and I love this one. It's very similar to my natural lip color, which is why I love it, and it wears all day. It does not have a brush on the end. That's the one thing I wish, like the Mario liners have the brush on the end. This one does not. But other than that, I have no complaints. Definitely recommend this formula from YSL. Number 29, the Charlotte Tilbury, I think these are called the lip blush. It's so tiny, I can't even read the bottom of it. But this is the lip blush tint in Pillow Talk Medium. I actually love this. So to me, this is like a lip balm and a little bit of pigment just mixed together. It doesn't give you a ton of color, but it gives you enough. And it's just like a little bit of something on your lips. Like you want something more than a clear balm, but you don't want a lipstick. This is like a hybrid of the two, and it's actually pretty long wearing for this type of product. I do have this on today with that YSL lip liner, and I have on a little bit of gloss that we're gonna get to in a minute, but I actually like this product. This is a great purse lip product that you could just throw on your lips, and you don't really need a mirror or to be super careful when you're applying it, and you're good to go. I actually really like this product. And number 30, the Hung Van Gogh Glossy Lip Hues. So I do have two of these. I have on Worth Every Penny today over that Charlotte Tilbury lip blush. And okay, I love the way these look on the lips. They give you that extremely wet, glossy finish, which if you hate that, you won't like this. I will say they're not incredibly sticky, which I like. The only thing about these, I wish they were a little bit thicker. They are so watery that when you put them on, especially if you don't have like lip filler and you don't have super defined borders around your lips, I find that these are so thin and liquidy, they can kind of get everywhere, especially if you don't have like gigantic lips. They don't like stick to the lip. They're so thin and watery that they really want to spread. That's not like a deal breaker, but I do wish they had just a little bit more thickness to the formula. But I love the finish and the effect that they give. All right, so those are 30 reviews as quick as I possibly could on 30 pretty new makeup launches and a few skincare products too. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. I tried to keep this as condensed and concise as I possibly can. And I love doing videos like this. I don't do them super often just because it takes me a while to plan for these, and it takes me a while to use these things enough where I feel confident in giving my like final review on them. But I feel really good about the info that I gave you. So I hope they're helpful. If you are interested in any of these products, that is always my goal with these, is to help you decide if it sounds like something would be good for you or not. I will link and list everything in the description box with my shades as well. If I didn't mention it, they will all be listed there. And I will link as many things as I can on the screen and YouTube shopping as well. If you're new, I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. We would love to have you here. And if you're not already, please make sure to follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you.